What's up, collectors? Today, I want to take a look at the Brute Weapons Customizer Pack by Halo Mega Construx. There are 57 pieces in this set, and it's meant for ages 8+. A little preface before we take a look at this set is that I picked this up at a Dollar General for $10. And considering the aftermarket prices are near double that, I recommend that if you can try and find it in a brick and mortar store near you, I would do that for sure. And since all Halo Infinite has released that the Banished are going to be the next enemy of the game, although I think there's going to be a redesign for the armor, this is obviously a very desirable set right now. And of course, there are so many Brute weapons and accessories in this customizer pack that you couldn't go wrong with picking up this one, or even a couple of them. So with that, we're going to start opening it up. And as I mentioned, we tend to look, if you want to open it up cleanly, there tends to be a gap on the one side where there isn't any glue. And then what you can do is if you place a knife or even just your finger down, and we're going to push all the way down through the bottom, it should enable you to make a really clean opening of this set. No mess, which is always a big plus. We're just going to have all the things drop out on us. Excellent. And I'll clean up a little bit before we continue on. So I was very excited to find this set. I actually found tons of them, although I just couldn't bring myself to spend a crazy amount of money on the same set over and over, but I really enjoy it. This set, as you can see here, in the sprue, we had all the armor fall out in the bottom. So you're going to have two Brute armor packs with the dark black bottoms and the dark gray tops. Obviously, black is dark for a color, so that was a funny slip. But again, I'm working on my YouTubing, and it is a fun journey with everyone who supports me and is watching these videos and reviews, because I enjoy sharing. There are these little pieces here, and that is just little additions that we're going to use to decorate the tops of the weapon crates, because it differentiates between, we're getting a blue Banished Brute and an orange one, so one crate is for the blue and one's for the orange. And in one of these crates were the two stands for the figures. Just like the blind bag ones, there's nothing too unique about them, and they're just in the black color. I think maybe, you could have a mispackaging and they wouldn't show up at all for you in your set. I know, Mega Construx sometimes isn't so good about the quality control, so I would be worried if you didn't get one because it had to just fill one of the two armor crates. But it should probably be okay. And to be honest, I haven't had many problems since the brand name switched to Mega Construx with the quality control. Not like the old days anyway. And so we're just finishing up these crates right now. And I think these are excellent display pieces. They're good. And I like the color differentiation between the orange and the blue Banished Brute, because that way, if you're doing some sort of scene or armory scene or mock, you can clearly have, if you have all your blue Banished Brutes in one area and the orange in the other, you can have them there. Or it just adds a little bit of spice of life and color. We're going to start taking out the figures and weapons next, but let's take one more look before I do. Both Brutes are in the same exact molding, same shoulder pads, asymmetry and everything. They have a very dark skin tone for the Brutes, not like the light one like you'll see in the 10-year anniversary blind bags. Some of the weapons are painted, some aren't. So, for example, you get a very shiny silver Spiker, but this Brute shot is in a dark gray with no paint. Meanwhile, you get this beautiful gravity hammer that's painted with the silver on top of a very dark gray. You get a burgundy, which would be equivalent to the Halo 2 Brute plasma rifle. You get a painted Mauler, painted trip mine, and you get a plain dark gray Brute grenade, with spike grenade, I believe. So we're going to just pop these out. I don't know if you enjoy the sound of this. Maybe this is ASMR if you haven't opened one of these in a long time yourself. I know personally I never got any of these when they came out originally. So it's amazing for me to be able to find them in stores. I think the copyright on the back of the set said 2016 this set came out. If you can believe it. It might have been 2018. But either way, it's at least 2 years old at this point. So it's a miracle that they're still around for collectors like myself. So the first Brute we're going to go over, and his helmet popped off, is the blue Banished Brute. And obviously these figures are similar, but I just want to give you a close look. He's got the silvery armor undertone with the blue on top. He looks pretty similar to the blind bag Banished Brute from the series Stormbound. However, I would say the difference is in the pattern on the chest, actually, the way they're painted. And other than that, some of the tones, I think the other one was more of a flat gray all across, whereas this one has the darker skin or undersuit color. He's a very good figure, and of course he'll come with a stand in the set. I'll just try and stand him up for now. And then we have the orange one, who also, I dropped a shoulder pad. All right, here we go. I think a problem with these Banished Brute molds, and I don't think it's a big problem, but I do think some of the pieces tend to be loose or wiggly. Especially, I mean, like the chests, for example. I always have these wiggle a little bit. So it leaves a little bit to be desired with that, but it's not a big deal, especially if you're just displaying or posing them. And even if you're playing with them, it shouldn't throw you off too much. I just think some of the molds are inconsistent with how good or tight they fit to the characters. So he's a really good figure. I like the contrast between the orange and the darker color. I think this is more accurate to the games too, because the Banished are usually probably red, oranges on top of their darker undertones. And the bold color works well with them. I think that really helps them to stand out. And we can take one more quick look at all the weapons. I love the inclusion of this gravity hammer. This is an excellent piece. Very excellent. And I think a Brute Chieftain would deserve this if they ever made one in the Mega Construx style, using the new articulation. And it's a shame we haven't gotten one yet, but that doesn't apply so much to the Banished. So we'll let that go for now. Here we've got the Unpainted Spiker. We've got the Mauler, which is a good piece. Although I don't think the Banished actually wielded Maulers. I could be wrong. So you have to let me know in the comments, but I don't know. Maybe it's an unnecessary inclusion for the set. The Plasma Rifle. I think they have a lot of Halo 3 weapons here right now. Not so many of the actual Halo Wars weapons, but I could be wrong. Spike Grenade. So that's it for this set. I think it's a pretty good set overall for only $10. So you pay about, $5 per figure, but not really, because you're getting so many accessories, so many painted accessories at that, and he fell down. But overall, you're getting a lot for what you're paying, and I think this is one of the more important weapon packs to have, because it's good to have the variety among the enemies, especially with the weapon. I mean, it's always good to have weapon variety, but nice painted ones that work really well with Brute figures, and obviously Brute figures are very popular. So I think you couldn't go wrong with this, and hopefully it'll help build your Halo Wars style army. And maybe Halo Infinite army one day. With that, collectors, I will see you in the next one. Happy hunting.